Welcome friends. In this video we will understand how to design custom hook like the useForm. So custom hooks are very powerful utility in the mobile application development using the frameworks like React Native, or in the web development the frameworks like React based frameworks. So here in this video we will understand how to design custom hooks, and we will see the real life application use cases, and you will see the use cases of the custom hooks in your application. So let me give you some of the examples. Like suppose you have a login and the sign up screen. In the login and the sign up screen you will see there is a information detail like email, password, mobile number. Similarly in the sign up page also. So how do you handle these forms? Do you manage separate state for each input boxes? So with the custom hooks like useForm, you don't have to manage the separate states. You can manage all information in a separate, isolated, and you can encapsulate your data and the logic using a custom hook like the useForm. Similarly, if you see the profile page is there, your settings is there, account detail is there in your product. So there you see the form is there, uploading picture, name, last name, email, settings are there, managing your settings. So how do you handle all of this? What could be the best strategy for this? I will suggest for each component, for each screen, you can manage a custom hook. Inside that, you can manage a single state. Let's talk about some real life products like e-commerce products. So e-commerce products like Amazon, Flipkart, Blinkit, Big Basket, all of this have your address. All of this have your biodata, name, mobile, how these vast or like giant applications handles all of this lot of information to the forms, how these forms are handled. What could be the best strategy? Similarly, if you see the applications, social media applications like Instagram, WhatsApp, Threads, Facebook, there you will see your bio information. Inside that you will see you are posting a post. Inside the post you will see title, subtitle, descriptions, and you are attaching video like audio, video. How all of this are handled? What could be the best way to handle these forms? If these applications like Instagram are based on the React Native, I would suggest to use a custom hook, because custom hook is something like separate module. It will encapsulate your data or your states or your business logics like validation of the forms, throwing the errors and everything in this isolated hook, that is isolated file. So similarly, in this video, I will start with the simplest example like login page, and with the login page, you will understand how to design the custom hook. So here I have the built-in UI like email and the password. We'll attach all of its methods and error handlings and the validations through the custom hook. This is the UI here. You can see this is the login, and this is your email, and this is your password, and this is your submit button. So let's create a custom hook here in this file, and let's start the implementation. In the end, you will understand how easy to design a custom hook, and you will see the lot of use cases, and in the end you will see how it can minimize the number of renders, how it can speed up your work. Let's do it quickly. Now consider this is your single component, or your single component will have a single state. It's called modularity. All of your state and the logics will be kept in a separate file. That is going to be your custom hook. That is called hook based architecture. Suppose you have 50 components in your project, and the state and the logic of all of your components is managed in a separate file, that is called hook or custom hook. So let's define the initial state of this component. So what could be the initial state of this component? You have your email, you have your password. So let's keep the initial state as your initial value. We'll keep it as initial value or initial state, whatever you prefer. Let's keep it in an object, because you can increase any number of input boxes in your component, so that we can easily manage all of your states in a object. You don't have to manage separate states for each input boxes. Let's keep it email, and initial value is going to be empty string. Give it a password. Yeah, so this is going to be your initial values or the initial state of your component. Now let's create a file, custom hook or useForm, inside the src folder. give it as a useForm. useForm.js. Let's create its name. Give it initial value. Export it as default. useForm. Just a quick reminder for the name of this variable useForm. So we are keeping it as like the real hooks generally use state use fact. So we starts it with the word use. It's the rule of the React hooks, because your built-in hooks like use state, use fact, use callback, use memo, all of this passes some linters or some rules, generally the rules you with hooks has. So if we start with this, our custom hooks will work like the other hooks or the real hooks generally we have. That's why we started with the use. Now let's import it here. So before we import it, I would like to tell you what is the requirement of this component, what could be the possible states, what could be the possible methods which we can have inside this component. So let's give the names. So let's call it, so we will use an object here for destructuring all of its functions and the states from the custom hook. So let's import it from the useForm. Give it the initial value which we have. So now you think what could be the possible values here, so that your component could be a large component, it could be a small components. According to this your destructuring values will increase. So let's give it the values at the beginning, values, and let's give the handle change, because each input boxes will have the handle change. Let's give the errors if you have the errors, and finally we have the submit button, handle submit. So these are the methods and this value or the states of this component for managing all of its information and rendering and mounting and unmounting. Now give the initial values to the text inputs. Let's give the initial value of it, values dot email. So this is how, because values is an object which will keep the information of all of your input boxes. So similarly, let's give a handle changes here on change text. Whenever you are changing a text, how will a single handle change method will handle all of your information in all of your input boxes. Inside the callback, take is a text. In the handle change, for the isolation of each input boxes, for the identity, we can pass it as an email, as an ID, or you will pass it as the input text value. Similarly, let's copy it here and pass it inside the another password input boxes. Give it as a password, and here give it as a name as password, as a key. In the end, you will have the submit method. In the submit method, what you can do, after the submission, you will get the status like your login is successful. So we need the status inside this screen, right? So let's on the on press, write a function handle change. Let's give it a name, handle login. It's a login screen. Let's handle login. Here we'll write this function. Inside this function, we will call the handle submit function. After the handle submit function, you will get some status. It's logged in or status something, right? On the basis of that, you can display some message, or you can write your navigation here for the home page or dashboard. So let's call it here handle submit, and you can, for now, you can put a console here. Inside the console, you can put the message. If login is successful, you can write the condition as well, but for now let's keep it simple. You are logged in. You have logged in successfully. just let's give it a tilde here. For this we can give an email here with, so that will look nice. Dot email. Or yeah, you can keep this variable here, or just for now let's remove it. So this is the only thing which we require here in this component. We don't have to write any further more things here. We have to handle errors here as well. So what we can do here, whenever you have an error, so in that case you can put the error, and with the end you can give a text input. Inside this text input you can simply give your error message here. So how can you give errors.email if the email is the error? Okay, dot email. Or you can give the style here, error text simply. So this is how you can give your error here. Also below the, if the password is incorrect, in that case you can put the password here as well with the error. So this is all what you can do here. So let's implement your custom hook here.